Welcome in, Hawks fans. Your boy Bryce Lewis back at it again for another Believe in Hawks episode. Hawks drop another one tonight, 122-119 to the Toronto Raptors, the second of a back-to-back, and a performance of repeat, basically, of the Detroit game, except the Hawks played better in the second half, made it a game, took the lead at one point, but could not hang on and put Toronto away, giving Toronto their second road win of the season. They got good performances from night from multiple guys. Bruce Brown, Scotty Barnes, RJ Barrett, Grady Dick, other guys like that did some good things tonight. So they came in here. They played like they wanted it. And the Hawks had to fight back, stretch, and claw just to get back into the game and just couldn't get over the hump. So we're going to talk about that. We're going to talk a little bit about the Detroit game as well. And kind of just, what's happening right now with the team. And obviously a big injury tonight. Jalen Johnson leaves the game with a left shoulder injury. If you remember, the right shoulder was the one that he had inflammation on. Now it's the left shoulder that is giving him problems. How it looked and why we may not be seeing Jalen Johnson maybe for a couple of weeks. So that obviously would be big injury news for this team moving forward. I appreciate you guys tuning into the Believe in Hawks podcast with your boy. Obviously, if you enjoyed this episode, subscribe, like the video, leave a comment down below about anything we talk about today. Audio listeners, same thing. Leave a rating, leave a review for Believe in Hawks. Tell your friends about the podcast. Let them know about other Atlanta Hawks podcasts in this great community of pods. So definitely, guys, appreciate you guys tuning in for another one right now. So, like I said, Hawks lose tonight, 122-119. And this game was very eerily similar in terms of the way it started to Detroit. Hawks started off really sluggish. They started off very slow. Defensively, they were not playing well, and they were down double digits in the first quarter. And you basically had to fight and claw the whole game to get back. Now, the Detroit game was different because you couldn't hit threes. Ultimately, in that game, the Hawks could not hit threes. That pretty much sealed the deal. They were able to generate offense through the twos, but they could not hit threes because even the commentator said you got to hit a few threes just to help. And the Hawks just could not get one to fall outside of Garrison Matthews and Vic Krejci. So and I think a lot of people were disappointed with the fact that how they started that game because this was kind of an important game. This is the team that you're battling with in that 6 to 5 to 7 to 8 seed space. Win this game really gives you – Detroit already won a game on you this year. Now they're up 2-0 in the season series. Got to win 2 just so they don't get the tiebreaker. So people felt it was a very important game against Detroit. And Detroit obviously is a much better team than I think a lot of people gave them credit for. I remember after the first Detroit game, people were sitting there saying, how did we lose to Detroit? Now you're not hearing people say that anymore because Detroit is a good team. Detroit has some good things. They're a really good defensive team. Thompson is a really good defender. Cade Cunningham is a superstar. So clearly they're not with the team that maybe some people thought they were going to be coming into the year. Just because I think in this league, we see a team's bad last year, we're just going to assume they're bad again if we don't look at the signings and think they're game changers. But that's why you got to watch the game, see what they're building, see the culture, and you'll be able to know. Obviously, Raptors are in a different boat because they're tanking. They're expected to not be good. They're expected to not be a really good team. And so obviously you come into the game with more expectations to win, more expectations to dominate, more expectations to take care of business at home, and you didn't. Like I said, they got some good performances from their guys tonight to be able to put pressure on the Hawks. But I think what was most frustrating was, again, the sloppy play to come out. The Hawks in these last couple of games have kind of came out very – it feels like they've came out with very low energy. It feels like they've came out with this – I don't want to say lackadaisical, but they're not coming out like, all right, I'm ready to play basketball tonight. I'm ready to play. I'm ready to win. I'm ready to put in the work, It felt like they came out kind of just like, all right, let's just play basketball, And you've kind of noticed it. Guys like Trey. Trey has had a not a great game yesterday. And then today into the fourth quarter pretty much was not doing a lot in the first half again. And I think obviously as a star of your team, you expect a little bit more from him in that regard, a little bit more scoring, a little bit more offense. And like I said, he started to get it late, but just wasn't enough. You had Dyson Daniels step up again. He's been good. I mean, he's been the one, especially offensively. He's been good offensively the last few games. Really giving the Hawks what they need from that two-guard position to help with the scoring in the backcourt. Kongu, he had a strong game tonight. Both of the centers had good games tonight, which I'll get to Barlow a little bit later in the pod. But, Vic Krejci continues to give you some good play. Bogey got a shot back tonight, which is huge, and we'll talk about that. But it just felt like, DeAndre Hunter's having his struggles right now. Like I said, Trey hasn't been great. Garrison didn't make a three tonight. I mean, you had to play David Rodney, and like I said, when he's not scoring, yeah, it's like, oh my God, why is he playing? But the Hawks you're in this 500 bubble you've been in for a long time, and it feels like every time the Hawks, they might break through, they just don't. And the biggest thing with any team is consistency. And this team is consistently inconsistent. Now, if you think about this season, it's been a consistently inconsistent season. They have been inconsistent with health. It's been hard for them to truly get healthy and keep guys healthy through 10, 15, 20 game stretches. And the thing is in the league is so many guys are missing games, and a lot of teams are struggling with it, which is why I always say you have to build your teams differently now than you were before, because guys are just not staying healthy. And the Hawks are better constituted this year for injuries than they were last year and the year before that. But still, you're unable to really build that complete and whole chemistry and consistency you want to build within your rotations and your lineups when you don't have health. And, Jalen Johnson's been in and out of the lineup. Trey misses a game here and there. Bogey misses some games. Clint missed his first game tonight. He's been consistent. Okongu missed some games. Ricochet's missing games right now. Krejci had a 2-week period where he missed 3-week period where he missed some games. I mean, you've had everybody pretty much miss games. And so it hasn't allowed this team to just be fully healthy for a longer period of time. Right? And so that, I think, has impacted things just because you're unable to get full consistency. And then, like I said, when you play these games like against Toronto, you still hope, we have enough to get past them. Again, losing Jalen Johnson was a big blow. Jalen, he injured himself in the second quarter, I believe it was. Pretty much looked like he was defending Bruce Brown. I think it was Bruce Brown. I could be wrong. But he was defending, and then it didn't look like much on the screen, but he started grabbing that left shoulder, and he was dangling it, and he went immediately back to the locker room. And usually those types of things is a dislocation, some type of dislocation, something happened. And so I am fully preparing people to be without Jalen Johnson for a couple of weeks. Obviously, we hope that it's not super serious and he can get back as soon as possible. But a lot of people are wondering, okay, how will the Hawks survive without Jalen Johnson? Because you've seen so many games where they don't have him and they lose. And that has been true. They do struggle without Jalen Johnson. And I know people are going to start using those questions of, he can't stay healthy. Was he a good decision? Some people are going to bring up trading the guy, which is stupid. But I think a lot of people obviously are just awaiting word on what they say about Jalen. They ruled him out pretty quickly tonight. It's like I said, you just hope he's good. I said the big question at that 4 spot going ahead is, do you go with – you went with Rodden tonight. Do you go with Plowden next game? I'm assuming he's going to be called up. I'm assuming he will be called up. Assuming that's the case. They will call Plowden up. Again, he had a good performance. If you're Quinn, you don't have a reason to not trust him or say, hey, we need you to play for us. So I'm assuming he'll be called up. And my question is, first, who's going to start? It feels like Rodney's going to start, but I don't know. Because before they've had Jalen out, Ricochet's been there. So Ricochet's just been the 4. And then they'll put Krejci in there. He'll be 3. Dyson, Trey, who in the center, right? Now you don't have Ricochet. So now who do you put there? Who do you start there? Would be my question. Who do you put in that position? Do you go Rodney in the starting lineup? I mean, you could move. I mean, they could eat. I mean, they could definitely do this, which I don't think anybody wants. They can move Garrison into the starting lineup, move Dyson to 3, and then move Krejci to 4. I don't know if they want to do that though. Do you just go with David? Do you just go with Roddy as the 4, and then I mean DeAndre plays back up 4 minutes, but still, if you're running a 9-man rotation, your rotation is Trey, Bogdanovich, Hunter, Roddy, Okongwu, and then your first 4 are Bogey. I didn't put Hunter. I put Hunter in there, but I mean, you know, I'm assuming Clint will be back next game. Him or Barlow, Garrison, and then if you're going 9th, I mean, I guess you're going Plowden, right? I would assume that's where you would go for wing help and wing depth. It's just you would go Plowden, and then you just kind of let that be your rotation next game, and then however many games Jalen is out, and obviously you hope to not get any more injuries. Rishi Shea is expected to be back in a week. Hopefully, he'll be reevaluated in a week. So the expectation is hopefully he'll be ready to go. Clearly, with the loss of Jalen Johnson, he is needed a little bit more. But like I said, a big loss losing him tonight. And Quinn has to continue to figure out rotations, continue to figure out miss and match lineups and how he can make it work. And I think that's also a part of maybe some of the struggles you've seen with this team. Like I said, just not having that consistency of just knowing who you have in and game out and being able to build the chemistry with the guys. So I think that's where you stand with the team, and you just have to continue to work through it and hope guys continue to step up. So, like I said, that's a big loss. Now, like I said, in terms of the game, I think big thing for the Hawks really is just they have to come out with better energy in the first quarters, especially at home. Road games is, sometimes other teams jack, crowds static, comes out a little dull, right? Settle in, you're good. Hawks at home just have not came out with just this energy that you would think they want to be, especially a team you're thinking to yourself like, they haven't played at home in a while. They get to go home. They're probably gonna come out with energy because they haven't been at home, and they didn't, and they haven't. And you're just like, what is going on? They seem like a team that's tired, but I don't think that's what it is. I don't know if it's just one of those moments or what, right? And, this is where somebody mentioned, having a guy like Rishi Shea would be so helpful because Rishi Shea plays with such energy and effort that sometimes those things can rub off on the team and raise their energy and level of play. Dyson plays hard. Rishi Shea plays hard. You have guys who play hard. Krejci plays hard. And so those guys, just from their effort, can ignite, the team. And you don't have one of those guys right now, helping in that energy that they can bring to the team and push, to move forward. So I think that's been one of the toughest things that they could be missing as well. I think, again, you need your best players to play good. Like I said, because tonight I felt like the supporting cast did good. I mean, you had Jalen, didn't expect to lose him. And then, because I always say the problem is with the injuries that you have, especially guys like Jalen, you're losing offense. And so you're having to figure out how can we replace that offense and hope other guys step up in the process while also hoping Trey gives you Trae Young type of nights. And so I think that's going to be where the Hawks have to figure some things out. Like I said, if they play like they played in that second half, they should beat Toronto Saturday. We should be able to get that win before going to Minnesota that Monday. They're playing 3 games in 4 days. To get tomorrow off and then Saturday you got to play again, right? Part of the NBA grind, part of the NBA shift, part of the NBA just scheduling. But yeah, the Hawks have to come out with better energy. If they don't, I mean, that in and of itself is what's costing you these games. And they have to improve that if they're going to be able to find consistency. The difference between them being a top 6 seed in a play-in team. It's just going to be consistency and health for this Atlanta Hawks team. And another thing really to mention about the Raptors coming into this game, the Raptors just beat the Magic. They're a team that's in the playoff race right now. They just beat the Warriors and the Celtics. That's who the Raptors have beaten recently. And this is why I say consistently to you guys, anybody can be beaten on any given night. So we have to stop thinking that the Hawks should never lose a game to the Raptors or the Wizards or whoever you think is bad, because that's like the Celtics are the defending champs and lost to the Raptors. They lost by 13 points to the Raptors. I mean, it happens. Obviously, you hate when it happens, but it happens. So we got to give Toronto credit from their end. They came out. They were ready to go. They're playing well. I think they're really well coached. I like their coach. He just needs some talent. They're hoping to hit on the lottery pick, hoping to maybe try to get a Cooper Flag and Ace Bailey, whoever they can get their hands on and continue to build that in Toronto. And Toronto may be a really good team in years to come. And you kind of can see those things now because they're not a team that's badly coached. They just they're young, inexperienced, and at times just don't have certain talent at certain positions. Toronto's coming in this game winning 4 of the last 5. But like I said, we just see the record and we just see Toronto and say, we should beat this team by 20. I always say, man, I'd rather a team like Toronto beat a team like Orlando or a team like Celtics who went into a game, because then but they just beat a good team, so they can beat us if we don't play well. Because at the end of the day, these guys are NBA players. They're not G Leaguers. They're NBA players. If someone gets hot, someone plays well, they have a really good defensive game, they have better matchups that game, that can dictate differences in how a game can go, who loses, who wins, et cetera, and all that. So, that's just my thing there. Giving credit to the Raptors. But let's go ahead and get to the player performances. Like I mentioned, Trae Young, 18 points, 13 assists. Double-double game for him. 7 of 19 from the field, 2 8 from 3. Like I said, just for him tonight, you just need Trae to be more efficient. Obviously, that's always been the biggest story with his offense's efficiency. But just, you can't – Trae, I would like to see him get more into his offensive rhythm. I don't want to see 5-6 point first halves from him. Like, especially if your team's losing and you're the best player. Like, it's one thing if Trae's giving you 16 and you're down that amount. Then okay, I'm not getting enough from the other guys. Trae, if you're 4 and you're down, it's like, Trae, you could really be helping this situation right now. And you just need to get better performance from him. Like I said, I'm glad he came on late in the game, hit the floater, drives to the lane, because he can get a shot against Toronto. He's just I think sometimes, again, it's that sometimes he's passive, sometimes he's aggressive. It just kind of depends. Just more consistency from him on that regard and trying to figure out, okay, because Trae, you're capable of getting 13 assists and still getting 30 points. I know if you're going straight 40-something, that may be like, all right, I got to focus offensively. But, in these types of games, 3-point losses to a Toronto team, you see your star player with 18 points, you're like, man, if Trae could have gave us more tonight. Because they really weren't doing anything to him tonight that was like, throwing him off his game either. So hopefully Trae gives you a balanced performance. Dyson Daniels has been really, really good offensively for the Hawks recently. He is really, again, he's playing more like he played against Boston when he scored his career high. Just finding a rhythm, getting into the paint, good floater, finishing around the rim, attack, especially, again, when he's at the point guard and he's playing point guard. Dyson really starts to take advantage of people offensively. Big guy, drives downhill, and just like I said, either get fouled, finish at the rim, do different things. 8 rebounds tonight, helping on the boards, 5 assists, 8 of 14 from the field, 2 of 4 from 3, 4 steals in this game. So Dyson Daniels, man, he kind of did it all tonight. Really, really good performance from Dyson Daniels. Like I said, hoping with that backcourt workload and just giving them that much-needed offense they need from that 2 spot. That some people have complained, are you going to be able to get that from Dyson? He's been able to give that to you so far. So I'm not, again, too overly worried about that. But he's just continuing to work and he continued to give the Hawks everything he has out there on the floor, especially, like I said, with his role, 2-guard guy, off ball. And then when Trey comes out, they pretty much have now kind of labeled him and Krejci the playmakers in that offense. And when that in there, what they call it, the bridge unit, and kind of has that unit kind of being the team, that unit that kind of keeps the team afloat when Trey got back. And the Hawks got back into this game because of their bridge unit. So that was also big as well in this game. And Dyson led the charge. Kongu had a really good game tonight. His third game as a starter. I've seen conversation. We were 0-3 since Kongu's in the starting lineup. Why did we move Capella out of the starting lineup? That's why we're losing. Again, guys, if you know ball, that is not why we're losing. Onyeka Okongwu and Capella trading positions would not have changed the difference in the Knicks game, would have not changed the difference in the Detroit game. It would have not changed the difference tonight. And then Okongwu didn't even play tonight. So you couldn't even use that excuse if you wanted to. So, because I'm like, Detroit game, they couldn't hit threes. I don't think Clint being in the starting rotation and Okongwu come on the bench is going to change that. The Knicks is the exact same way. I don't think that switch would have made that much of a difference. I just think the Hawks are just being what they've been all year, inconsistent. And it just happened to come when Okongwu has entered the starting lineup. Because realistically, he's played well in all his starts. So it's not even like he's playing bad. He's playing well. He had 19 and 12 tonight and 4 assists. You're getting that from Onyeka Okongwu. You're very happy with what you're getting from your center spot as they seemingly are now giving him the reins at that position. So, I mean, Onyeka was definitely not an issue tonight. He played well. He played well tonight. Krejci, man, 13 points, man. 3-7 from 3, 5-10 from the field. Krejci really continues to impress, gives them much-needed offense that they needed. Now, he's upgraded from the 2-point-a-game Krejci to now a guy who's giving you about 13, 12 points a game. I think he's shooting like over 40% from 3 right now during these last few games. I mean, he's really came on really strong. And it's been big. It has been big that Krejci is looking more for a shot, being more aggressive offensively, making teams defend him, and now teams have to put him in the scouting report and say, we have to guard big Krejci. So, I mean, I'm really glad and happy with what he's been continuing to do, just continuing to push it. And then, like I said, you see his playmaking, his passing on display at times as well, especially in the fast break game, and just finding guys who can get open and make plays. Not really going to mention Jalen Johnson. Like I said, he had the shoulder injury. Hope he's okay. We'll see how long he'll be out. Bogey finally found a shot tonight. Sucks it came in a losing effort, but he finally found a shot tonight. 23 points in this game, 3 of 5 from 3, 8 of 12 from the field, a couple and ones, got some free throws. Really did a good job tonight of just getting himself where they need them. We've talked about it on the pod. The bogey struggles have hurt this team. And, because you're just like, oh, if we just had Bogey give us his production tonight, that'd be so big. And tonight he gave us that, and that was a big part of why we were make that comeback. Hopefully this is something that, really ignites his confidence, comes into more games more confident. He's someone who definitely, I think is really a key for this team. I know people have been asking about trading him because a lot of people are like, listen, I don't have time for him to get out of the slumps. If he's not playing well, trade him. No guarantee the next guy you're going to trade is going to come in here and play well off the bat. Bogey's had stretches of bad play before with us in previous years, and he's bounced back out of it, and he'll play well. And now we're hoping that this can really drive him moving forward. So big bounce back performance for Bogey tonight. Really happy to see that. Hunter has been struggling the last few games, especially with his shot. Hit some threes late in that game that were big, but he's been struggling with his shot recently. I think. Okay, here's the shot selection: 3 of 11 from the field, 2 of 8 from 3. I think Hunter needs to go back to driving a little bit more, being a little bit more physical, some pick and pop mid range. Get back to that shot profile, because I think the one thing that is impressive when he plays is that he can mix it up. He'll attack the rim, and then he'll take threes. So you'll see him maybe shoot 13 shots, 6 comes from the 3-point line, and then 7 comes from in the paint. And it's a mixture. It's a 50-50 almost mixture of shots. Tonight, if he's just shooting threes primarily, again, even though he's improved a lot as a 3-point shooter and he can get hot, I would like to see him still mix it up. Don't just focus all on the three, or don't just focus all on, trying to, be a perimeter guy. Take what the defense is getting. If you can get by your guy, get by your guy. If you need to pull up and take the midi, you can make the midi. Quinn is one of the few guys who can get him to take that shot. So I would like his shot selection to be a little bit better in that regard, because I think that may help him, because right now he hasn't played well. And people are asking questions, well, what happened to DeAndre Hunter? So hopefully we can work through that. Hunter obviously was a big part of it. And again, this goes to my theme about the Hawks' inconsistencies. One player plays well, one player doesn't. One player gets hurt, another player plays well in his absence. It's just, can we get all these guys to play well at the same time? That's when you will see this Hawks team at its best. What you saw during the 6-game winning streak. But like I said, Garrison Matthews tonight, 0 points. Didn't really give you anything. Dominic Barlow tonight, man. 11 points, 2 rebounds, and assists, man. Look good, look nimble, defended well. Barlow, man. I listen, I don't know about you guys. I want more Barlow minutes. But nah, he did a good job tonight. And I can literally say, every two-way player this Atlanta Hawks, every two-way player the Atlanta Hawks has all had performances this year where you're like, I could see him being in the rotation. Like literally, their two-way guys are guys that literally, if the Hawks wanted to go with a cheaper alternative at a certain spot, you may feel confident enough in those guys to say, we can put you in that spot and say, we'll let you be that rotation guy. Like, really? Like if Plowden, let's say, plays next game and has a good game. If you're Quaid, you go into the offseason, and you may have to think about, okay, is there room for Plowden? Same thing with Keaton Wallace. Obviously, I don't know what they're doing with that backup point guard spot, but I mean, he's another guy who has had some performances. And then Barlow plays well. Hey, Nance is a free agent. So if you move Clint, do you go with Barlow next year as your backup center? If he gets any more opportunities this year and plays well? And Barlow played well tonight, you can see the offense. There's one thing about Barlow. He can put the ball in the basket. He can score. But I was really impressed defensively. He really moved his feet well. Because I know they said that was one of his issues was defense, but he could block shots, but sometimes he's a little slow, not great with defensive assignments and rotations. And tonight, I felt like he was good. I think he was disruptive, created a couple of turnovers tonight. Barlow played really, really well. And so I am really hopeful to see. We'll see if Clint's out next game. His right knee sores. He may play next game, probably. But I think Barlow definitely showed, hey, I can play in this league. So, and I mean, listen, he used to play on the Spurs, so it's not like this is for me. Like he's played on the NBA level before. So, but like I said, very disappointing loss tonight. 122-119. Last 3-game losing streak. Disappointing games from Detroit to now. Hawks get another crack at Toronto, get another shot at it. Hopefully they can get back on the winning track on Saturday, back in State Farm before they go to Minnesota to play the Minnesota Timberwolves. And obviously, I will try to be on top of that for you guys and give you the Believe Hawks episode when that happens. But I think that's about all of it for me, guys. Follow me on Twitter, Bryce_2K for all my Hawks takes. Subscribe to the channel if you enjoyed the episode. Like the video. Same thing for my audio listeners. Appreciate you guys. It's your boy Bryce Lewis. See you next time.